see what jobs are out there. They should prepare themselves properly for an interview. Don't go in with an attitude, oh, they owe me a job. No, they don't owe you a job. Walk an extra mile. You can get things if you give first. Yes. We all started here. And not everybody started by sitting on the 14th floor on a leather chair with white telephone. No, it doesn't work like that. And sometimes you have to scrape the bottom of the barrel. So please be ready to do that. You see, to be an immigrant is a conscious decision, but it is not an easy decision.
Yes, true.
And
true.
Therefore, immigrants do face certain challenges. I accept that. Sociologists have written for a very long time on the entrance status of an immigrant, which means your qualifications, your language skills, your personal skills, your time management skills, your attitude, your behavior modification.
So they need to get to know what's expected in the new culture that they've entered.
Exactly. And surely new culture must also make certain accommodations.
Yes.
I am all for that.
You're talking pure give and take here.
That's exactly
What about
right.
refugees? I see that being a major issue here.
Okay.
Again, trying to find the balance,
being
the Good Samaritan, balance with what Canada needs right now.
Right. But you see, a genuine refugee, and I was married to one for a very, very long, a genuine refugee has a certain mindset. A genuine refugee thinks very differently from an immigrant, because a genuine refugee is driven by the cause which drove him and her out of the country. So that stays alive with them. And when they come here, their integration becomes even more difficult, because they are always fighting that I want to go back home, because there's that push-pull feeling that I was pushed out, so I want to go back. I was wronged. So refugees have very different expectations. They are very suspicious. They are always looking. Yes. They have a cause. They are active. They organize, they shout slogans.
Do you think we're too easy when it comes to accepting refugees into this country?
I think so too.
You think so?
I personally think yes. What persecution? What kind of persecution was it?
Yes.
What's happening really is that over the years, as you know, Canada is a signatory to the United Nations Convention on the Status of Refugees. The convention dates from 1951. It is sorely outdated because it belongs to the Cold War era. That's the first problem that we have. The second problem is that over the years, the grounds have been constructed in an expansive way in Canada. So we have found more grounds, for example, family violence, sexual preference or orientation, etc., etc. Many of them are very valid in many countries. But what we are not doing, and this is to get our heads around the fact that we need a system that is fair, that is expeditious, but that is also final. Where we are erring is in the question of finality, because we don't have a system where we can very quickly separate the bogus refugees from the legitimate ones, give the legitimate ones their status, and then treat the bogus refugees.
So obviously we need an overhaul.
With a sense of finality.
We need an overhaul from the top down.
Complete overhaul. The system is basically caving because of its own weight. And the unscrupulous individuals who promote bogus refugees around the world to come to Canada because they know that Canada is soft, they know very well how to exploit this.
Of course.
And the sad thing is that these bogus refugees are taking the time and the place of the legitimate ones, because there are many legitimate refugees around the world sitting in refugee camps, not necessarily paying $50,000 to a people smuggler and procuring false passports. And the other thing that we do very wrong, in my opinion, is that in this day and age, when security is such a very important and overpowering concern, we are not ascertaining the identity of people in a very timely manner. We allow them to enter Canada with false documentations. We don't have a mandatory detention policy for people who are traveling with false passports, which is mind-boggling in this day and age. And we are basically being viewed by all the people smugglers of the world as the laughing stock, because they know they can dump their cargo in Canada and at the same time exploit the refugees, take advantage of them, do all kinds of unspeakable things to their families, and in in many occasions, those people smugglers are not only there for the profit, but they're also linked to terrorist organizations around the world.
It's a very grim picture. Alexandra, we're running out of time real fast.
Yeah.
Do you see any positivity here? Because trying to get this all to work politically, we're not going to get the parties to agree.
I know that many immigrants who come do a lot of good for Canada. I would like to recognize that. But at the same time, there are a lot of things that are happening which might cancel out all the good that many of these immigrants
Do we need more
doing.
settlement and integration services in our country?
You see, again, we are creating more bureaucratic setup
that aren't doing the job
without having definite policies for them to work with.
Yes,
we need more business-friendly policies.
Yeah.
We need retention policies. That's something that is a whole other matter. We need to make sure that when a qualified immigrant that we need in the economy comes to Canada, stays in Canada and contributes to society.
We're out of time for today. Thank you both so much for coming and joining me and shedding this light. That's all the time we have. See you again next time. I'm Christine Williams, and from all of us, thank you for watching.